Okay.
Okay, we're live.
So, all right, if we want to get started.
Okay, let's go ahead and get started. So good afternoon and welcome to the book launch of San Bernardino Singing, a recently revealed anthology about San Bernardino. This event is brought to you by Inlandia Institute, a literary nonprofit organization that serves the Inland Empire. My name is Christina Guillen. I'm the programs coordinator for Inlandia, and I'd love to introduce this event for you today. So San Bernardino Singing is an anthology created by 2016-2018 Inlandia Literary Laureate, Nikia Chaney. Nikia set out to honor San Bernardino by collecting artwork and writing about this place. What she found is a rich and varied history through the perspective of San Bernardinians and those that are passing through. So let's go ahead and learn a little bit more about this anthology from its creators. Some of the creators today: Cati Porter, Vanessa Nunez, Nikia Chaney, and Deenaz Coachbuilder. So welcome, ladies, and thank you for joining us today. Do we have someone who would like to begin with their introduction?
Okay, I can go ahead first. Hi, everyone. My name is Vanessa Nunez. I'm currently a graduate student at Cal State San Bernardino studying English and Writing Studies. So my connection to this anthology is I have a short story included about a young high school student's experience regarding a drive-by shooting that takes the life of one of her classmates. It is based on a true story I experienced when I was in high school. And yeah.
Welcome, Vanessa. Thanks for joining us today. And I'm Cati Porter, but I think I would love to hear a little bit from Nikia Chaney, who she came up with this idea for an anthology and during her laureateship. So Nikia, you want to say a few words?
Yeah.
Yay.
Okay. Hello. I didn't know what order we were going in, but I'm Nikia Chaney, and I was the previous Inlandia Literary Laureate from 2016 to 2018. And what's so fun about that position is that you get to choose different projects to do in the community that, you know, represent literature, but also kind of represent place. And so this idea of course, here's a book, let's do a book about San Bernardino, because Inlandia is housed in Riverside, but Inlandia is for like all of the Inland Empire. So let's spotlight San Bernardino and do something fun for that. So that's kind of where the idea of this came from. I'm a teacher, writer. I do quite a lot of different things here and there. Oh, am I still here? Or
Uh-oh.
what happened?
Oh.
You're still here, Nikia.
Yikes.
Let's see. Am I muted? Am I unmuted? Technical difficulties? Can you guys hear me or no?
I hear you, Nikia. Yes.
Okay. Did you hear me at all? All right.
Yep. I wonder who. Hi, that was fun. I wonder, I'm not sure where that came from, but I just closed out all of my tabs just in case.
Oh,
And
okay.
so welcome. Here we are.
Welcome. Welcome. Yeah.
That was great. That
well,
music
you know
was
what?
planned, entirely planned.
Well, there it is, you know, and that's the fun thing, right? An anthology is about everybody's voices. So everyone here has put something into it. So that's the beauty of it. Everybody's kind of bringing their own thing to it. So go for it. Go for it. Technology is fun.
Hi, everyone. I'm Deenaz, Coachbuilder, and I'm delighted to be here. I'm a writer, and I like to paint in oils. I'm a school administrator. I live in Riverside, but I have a long association with San Bernardino. I was the principal of a very, very unique and special school called Anderson School. I have three connections with the anthology. One is that I was a principal for Anderson School. The second is that I have a couple of poems in the anthology. Both those poems are related to my experience at Anderson School in San Bernardino. And then it's my awesome delight to have my painting as part of the cover of the anthology, and more about them later under Christina's and Cati's direction.
Great. So if anybody would like to see, Deenaz did the beautiful cover art for the book. This is what it looks like if you haven't seen it. Let's see. And it is quite lovely. And in a little while, I'd like us to talk a little bit more about the origin of the anthology and the origin of the painting. So I'm going to go ahead now and steer us over to the video so we can watch our first video of the series. And let's see, it is, oops, let's start at the beginning. Here we go. And bear with me just a half a second. Let me go ahead and share. And we should be on. So, volume. Maybe that's where the sound came from. Aha. Why are we seeing this and not Nikia reading? Okay. Stop share. Technology fail. We're going to fix this. Bear with me just a half a second. I think that's go. History. Coming back. Okay. Interesting. Okay.
So Katie, would you like me to see if I can pull
Are you not seeing the video?
I'm seeing the video, but I don't hear Nikia.
Yeah, we don't hear anything.
Yeah, we don't hear.
Oh,
We
how
can
odd.
see the video,
Okay.
but we can't hear it.
All right. So then we will pause on that, and I'm going to stop the share so we aren't just watching Nikia and having to guess what she's saying.
Yeah.
I apologize because I tested this earlier and it worked. So of course, new things sometimes don't always go as planned, but let's then just skip straight to some conversation, and let's, Nikia, I would love to hear the origin of, where did you come up with the idea about writing or about this anthology? And I know it was under your laureateship, but what were you hoping would come out of this? What kind of vision did you have for it?
Okay. And you know, I have the original video as well too. I was able to find it. So if we can maybe, if you want to use my version, we can try that too a little later on.
Sure.
But
Okay.
if we want to talk now, that's great. You know, however we do it is fine.
Let's go ahead and talk. And
the thing, we have another beautiful, Inlandia has another beautiful anthology called Orangelandia by Gail Brandeis, who kind of put this one together during her laureateship. And I know she said she had kind of came up with it through a dream. So I know I was thinking about that. But I was also thinking about Juan Delgado's collaboration with Thomas McGovern, and they're both in this anthology, which is really wonderful. And about how they went through the entire sort of city and they took pictures of like all of the beautiful artwork that were on different places. And I just thought that was such a beautiful thing to have. And I remember thinking to myself, what is something that we could put together and create that would be long lasting, but that would honor San Bernardino and honor it in a way that we don't really have before. Because even though Riverside and San Bernardino are kind of sister cities, they're very, very different. And, you know, the ideas around them, the attitudes around them can also be very, very different. And so I thought it would be really cool to hear what the people from San Bernardino thought about the city, to hear the history of the city, to get stories about the city, even if you're just passing through, and so on and so forth. So that's where the idea came from. And I want to say everyone waited so very long for this anthology to come out. It took quite a while. So you guys, thank you so, so much, all the participants, for your patience, your wonderful patience in that, because it was always something that I knew that I wanted to gift back to the city of San Bernardino.
thank you, Nikia. And, you know, I'd like this to be a conversation. So if any of our panelists have anything that they'd like to share or add, please feel free to jump in. I'm really thrilled at the way the anthology turned out, and I love the serendipity of Deenaz Coachbuilder's painting. We became aware of it about the same time as we were creating the anthology, and it just seemed an absolute perfect fit. Deenaz, would you mind telling us just a little bit about your idea for the painting and what your process is with your art?
I'd love to, Katie. So for a long time, for many years, we celebrated Inlandia Institute's membership celebration at our home. And that was my husband Feroz's and my way of giving a gift to Inlandia. We are part of the Inlandia Institute community. We couldn't do that this year, because of course we postponed or we canceled the celebration uh, as we had celebrated it before. And so I thought I would give a gift to the Inlandia Institute, and what better gift than to paint something about the Riverside San Bernardino area, because our theme for the celebration was going to be about the land, the Inland Empire, its history, its culture, and its people. And so I painted a scene of my vision of San Bernardino. Often it's different from, let's say, the mountains in Seattle. They tend to be brown in the summer. The horizons are purple. And so the painting just grew out of my imagination. And there are a lot of areas where there are creeks and streams in the Great San Bernardino Mountains. So at the base of the painting, I added what looks like the Lightly Creek area. So that's the origin for the painting, and I gifted it to Inlandia Institute. And I believe Katie is going to tell you a little more about whoever donated funds to buy the painting and what we're going to do with the painting. But when I thought that all was lost because we were not going to be auctioning the painting for our celebration, suddenly I learned that it is going to be used for the cover of the anthology. And I'm honored and thrilled. And in the beginning, I wasn't quite sure how it would turn out. But Mark Givens, thank you, Mark, has done a splendid, splendid job. And I'm really privileged that the painting is going to be part of the history of San Bernardino.
We are thrilled to have it, and it really was serendipity. Of course, this year we could not hold our annual members and donors appreciation reception. And Deenaz had gifted us the painting in order to try to auction it to raise money for Inlandia at our reception. But then along came the pandemic and everything changed. But we have other plans, and I'll talk a little bit about our new plan for the painting. But I'm wondering if, Vanessa, would you like to tell us a little bit about the origin of your story 39 that's in the book, and maybe read us a passage or two?
Yeah, so the origin of my short story is actually based on a similar incident that occurred when I was in high school. Throughout my undergraduate studies, when I was doing my creative writing degree, my focus was being a voice in San Bernardino. That was something I never had access to growing up. So I just think the existence of this anthology in general is really important, because for the first time, my writing actually had a specific category to fall into. It didn't just have that fiction or nonfiction section that it fell into. So I think it's really important that San Bernardino has this conjoined space of voices, especially considering recent events. I think it's really important to have that communicative voice in our community.
Well, we all agree, and I think that's one of the things that we wanted to accomplish with this, was to lift up the voices of the people who live in San Bernardino and who call it home. And I'm really happy that we were able to give your work a home in this book. So shall we hear a little bit of it, or would you like to read a little? Do you have a copy in front, or if you don't have a copy in front of you, here, I'll lend you my book.
I believe I have a copy of it.
Okay, if not, all the contributor copies are on their way. Or we can just tell people that they can order the book, and it's on page 196. Up to you. Do you want to look for a copy if you don't have it in front of you?
Okay. I have the original copy.
Awesome. Okay.
So I'll go ahead and read the first 2 paragraphs of it.
Great. Thank you.
Okay. 39. Cecilia knew her classmate was dead when the San Bernardino Sun released news of a young man having been shot to death in a drive-by shooting, marking it the 39th homicide of the year. No name, he was simply number 39. San Bernardino police suspected gang tensions may have had a role, just like every other murder that happened there. 39 wasn't an official member of any gang, though his brother was known to hang around a bad crowd that was a suspected member of one. It was connection enough for 39 to be whispered about in school the next day, his so-called friends declaring to all that would lend an ear that they knew he was a no-good person that was asking for it. I heard his brother was there and left as soon as the shots started, his now ex-girlfriend said. She never shed a tear for her dead boyfriend and barely concealed her cringes every time a student gave their condolences. 39 cheated on her a total of 3 times before she finally broke things off with him, but that only lasted a semester before she left them back into her life. Cecilia briefly wondered if she had reacted at all to the news of her boyfriend's murder and only looked stone-faced because she'd already shed tears to the point that she could no longer produce them.
You know what hello, what struck me that was so beautiful about that piece, Vanessa, was that it was heartfelt and it was coming from this really delicate place. And I remember when we were going through all of the work and we were looking at it and kind of deciding what's going to go in the book, what's not going to go in the book, I remember thinking I really wanted that in the book. So thank you for that, Vanessa. Thank you for sharing that. And I remember you, Vanessa. I wonder if you remember me. It's just been so awesome to see you blossoming and see you growing and moving forward in your life as well too. So that's a special pleasure, is that so many of the contributors are people that I know, I personally know, I've met with, I've sat with, we did classes together, we did writing classes together, we did fun stuff. So to kind of know that they're always going to be there and kind of be with me and be together in that way. We've captured that moment in time when I was, doing the laureateship. That's another thing that's kind of personal to me, but just very, very special. So thank you for sharing that. And you too, Deenaz. Oh my God, that cover. Oh my God, it's beautiful. It's so beautiful. I wish I were with you. I've met, been to your house several times, Deenaz, and just every time we've talked, every single conversation that we've had has always just left me just feeling so full of light and joy. So it's so
Thank
so
you,
wonderful.
Nikia.
This
Thank
is going
you.
to be on the
So
cover.
if you will give me a moment, Katie, I'll tell you a little bit about my experience in San Bernardino and the 2 poems
Yes,
that are in
please.
the anthology.
Yes.
All right. So I worked for San Bernardino City Schools for about 15 or 16 years. And my last 10 years was spent as principal of a school right off Waterman Avenue. It's a very unique special school called Anderson School. And it's like an alternative education campus. It has programs for different students with different challenges. We had about 200 students with profound to severe developmental disabilities. That meant some of them were nonverbal. They did not have many daily living independent skills, all the way to very talkative children, like our children with Down syndrome, who were fun-loving, who loved to dance, who chit-chatted, and who were independent enough where they could go off campus, and under supervision, they would ride the city buses, and they would go to job-related appointments a couple of days a week. But we also had students that belonged to the community day school program. They were bright students with who came from backgrounds that were a challenge to them. They had emotional and behavioral challenges. They were absolutely lovely kids. We had them for 1 year, and in that one precious year, because they had been suspended or expelled from their school, we had this 1 year so that they could catch up and be on a par so that when they left us, they would be successful on their school campuses. And mind you, these students, after they left us, they would often walk back when they were in middle school and high school and visit with us. Many of them never forgot us. So there are 2 poems in the book. One is called The Tooth Fairy. And again, it's about what the day at Anderson School was like, where we had a mixture of students with disabilities and students who were bright with a sense of humor, who could dance and who had many opportunities for the future. So The Tooth Fairy is about a young boy who loses his tooth, and we get this tooth and we put it in an envelope, and we tell him to keep it in his desk and take it home and put it under his pillow. But then suddenly Mary, who is our front desk clerk, and I realized that he doesn't know anything about tooth fairies, and that envelope might lie under his pillow forever. So when he's out playing in the yard and in the playground, we retrieve that envelope and we seal an envelope with $1 inside, and we quietly place it back in his desk. And when he comes, he discovers the envelope and he knows and he believes in the Tooth Fairy. And that is a gift for him. The other is a similar kind of poem. My experience in Anderson School changed me. Like a lot of you, I did not come in close contact with adults and children with severe disabilities. I learned to love them and to discover how precious they were. I came to understand the challenges that they were all boys on my campus, that young boys have. Some of them had fathers in prison. Many of them came from homes where they had experienced trauma. One of my students was running beside his brother who was on a bicycle, and he was there beside his brother when his brother was shot and killed. So you can imagine why school was a challenge for them. And that experience changed my life and the way that I look at my surroundings and know that for me, every day is a gift and a precious gift.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wow. Wow. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
I think that was one of the most interesting things about the anthology is that we got poetry, we got short stories, we got pictures, but we also have like some really beautiful essays and really beautiful prose pieces as well that talk about specific moments that meant something within the city. So, I think those were some of my favorite pieces in the anthology, to where we had like that slice of life, like this moment happened, this thing took place. So thank you for that, Deenaz. So good to see you guys. Oh my God. I haven't, because I did take a job and I've moved, unfortunately, out of the area. But it's for me, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's been a year. It's so good to see all of you guys. It's just so interesting to see your names and all of the people who are attending. I'm like, oh my gosh, look who's here, look who's here. So that's just fun for me. That's just fun for me. And Katie, I can read the foreword as well too, instead of the video.
If you'd like to do that, you know,
Yeah.
I'm having a thought as to what might have happened to cause all that extra music at the beginning.
Mm.
I will fix that before tomorrow. But in the
Okay.
meantime, if you would like to read a little bit, and then I want to, I have something to tell you, but first, let's hear a little bit from your foreword.
Okay. All right. So San Bernardino singing. I came to San Bernardino at the age of 17. I had just gotten married. I traveled with my new husband from South Central Los Angeles all the way to San Bernardino on the bus. All of the seats had blue cloth on them, and I was fascinated at how expensive they seemed compared to LA's hard tan plastic. Looking out the windows, I felt like I was going to some far off land, like my teenage life had been intervened by some fairy godmother. And what did this fantasy land look like? Desert everywhere. I had never seen the desert before. All around me were mountains that cut through the sky to stand like cinnamon walls at the horizon. Houses had yards that seemed stretched out like a giant hand had slowly erased the sidewalks and set each house further apart. We lived in Muscoy, right off Highland, on a street that was bulldozed years ago to make room for the entrance to the 210 freeway. From the east windows, nothing but brush and scrub, brown gold grass, and rocks that hid the city highways from view, as if that house were at the edge of the world. I felt small in that little house with its chickens and wild dogs and leaning gates. I would listen to Santa Ana winds rattling in the doorways, homesick for Inglewood, and wonder why I was here. What was this strange rural city, and what did it ask of me? I did not know then the power of place, how a town and county can seep into the body through the eyes and ears, like secondhand smoke or distant drums or perfume or sand under their feet. All of my children were born here in San Bernardino. When I think of San Bernardino, I think of taking my children with me to the laundromat on Del Rosa or the 99-cent store on E. I think of how my son was born in the parking lot of the old county hospital in Gilbert. And that time I found myself enrolled on a whim at San Bernardino Valley College, scared and naive, but so earnest and ready to learn. A professor there told me to write poetry, and years later, I would tell my own students, Vanessa, to do the exact same thing at CSUSB, in workshops and grocery stores. How could I not love a place that gave me voice and taught me how to write? When asked to represent the Inland Empire as a literary laureate for 2016-2018, I knew I wanted to do something for San Bernardino. It was and it is still so important for me to have something tangible for San Bernardino, to honor it, to speak its name. One of the beauties of any anthology is the multiplicity of voices. In gathering work, I was always constantly amazed at how the people of San Bernardino see the city and county. These words, these images, and all of you guys, right? All of you guys here, these people in these pages reflect a place and a history that is just as rich and varied as my own memories and my own experiences. For those just passing through, and for those who call it home, San Bernardino and its history, its gold desert, and its mahogany mountains always sings.
That is so gorgeous.
Aww, that was fun to write.
So speaking of tangible objects, so because we could not auction off the painting, our board of directors thought they had a different idea. So some of us, or some of them, I can't say us, but some of our board members, board of directors, and advisory council members came together and they made a gift to Inlandia on behalf of giving the painting to you, Nikia, as a gift. So right now, we will have to figure out how we can get it to you.
Yeah, no, I went, what? Like, what? Oh my goodness gracious. Oh, wow.
So especially meaningful now for us, because you have moved away. Hopefully it will remind you of home and the beautiful mountains and all the people who are here who miss you and love you. So congratulations. And
oh, what a beautiful surprise. Thank you. Oh my goodness gracious. It's funny, I was muted because I went, what? What? Oh no, it's such a beautiful painting. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. Oh my goodness. You guys have to all sign it. I want something. Sign the back, sign something, a card, something with your signatures. I want those names. I want to be able to see your name. But.
Well, the challenge right now is I don't think we can get together to do that yet.
No, that's true. It's okay. But I'll make a card or something. We'll make a card with your names. But.
Yeah, I think we can do a card. How about that? And we'll get it, and we will get it to you. And at this point, we've hit our 30-minute mark, but I wanted to acknowledge a couple people who are here. I'd like to say hi to Dottie Garcia, who I see is in the audience, and perhaps Ernie is with her. Dottie and Ernie, I think they've single-handedly lifted up the arts and culture community in San Bernardino by creating the Garcia Center for the Arts, which is where, Nikia, you did all of your programs. And, you know, we are very happy to be able to have our second office in San Bernardino. And we also have with us a number of other contributors from the book today who will be here on other days. So just quick shout outs to Christine Chatterton, who I'll put her on. You want to wave? Hi, Christine.
Hi, Christine.
And we've got, who else? We've got Cindy Rinney.
Hi, Cindy.
Hi, Cindy.
Hi, Cindy.
And we have some others, Erica Ayon and Al Chamberlain and Sheila Free. Sheila, I'll encourage you to go look at the book trailer for San Bernardino Singing, because we used her very delicious and sensuous and very brief poem to be the backdrop for this beautiful trailer that also includes some images from Tom McGovern. So I encourage you all to come back tomorrow. I'm going to turn it over to Christina, and there we go.
All right. Thank you everyone for joining us this afternoon. And just a reminder that the anthology is available now as we speak on Celador Books, in Amazon and Barnes & Noble as well. So thank you again for joining us. Please join us tomorrow. We'll be doing another live event at 3 p.m., which will include the presenters and contributors of the book, Carlos Cortez, Michelle Gonzalez, Linda Ravenswood, and Sheila Free. So please join us for another conversation and to learn more about the book and the place of San Bernardino. So have a lovely afternoon. Thank you and be well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you so
Bye-bye.
much.
Bye, everyone.
Oh my God, so good to see you guys. Oh my goodness.
Yay.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. But I'll definitely peek in for the rest of the program. I hope you guys do too.
All right. We'll see you very soon. Okay.